MichaelEMann, The Madhouse Effect, How Climate Change Denial is Threatening Our Planet, Destroying Our Politics, and Driving Us Crazy. In a world where scientific fact often intersects with political and industrial agendas, understanding the truth about climate change can be difficult. In the book The Madhouse Effect, MichaelEMann dismantles the wall of misinformation and denial surrounding climate change, exposing its roots in politics and self-interest. The book explores the serious, emerging consequences of our failure to take action on a global scale, such as increasing temperatures, rising sea levels, and the disruption of ecosystems. This summary delves into the tactics used by climate change deniers and the urgent need for understanding and collaboration among nations to combat this life-altering crisis.
Scientific inquiry and skepticism. Scientific inquiry involves rigorous scrutiny, checks, and balances to build reputations. Evidence is necessary to overcome skepticism. The peer review process has built-in rigor and multiple layers of fact-checking. However, those who claim skepticism about climate change can confuse the public, and blanket denial of fact-based scientific consensus is not true skepticism. Industries under financial threat have an interest in opposing climate change action, but the preponderance of evidence supports the conclusion that carbon dioxide traps heat in the atmosphere, leading to rising temperatures. The devastating impacts of climate change. Heat-trapping CO2 leads to rising temps and ocean acidification, resulting in extreme weather conditions. Rising sea levels, reaching 3 to 6 feet higher by 2100, pose a significant threat to coastal areas. Climate change is not caused by a single tipping point, but several looming thresholds, including a 2°C increase in global temps and the melting of the West Antarctic ice sheet, which could cause 10 or more added feet of sea rise. Scientists warn hitting 2°C will set irreversible chain reactions in motion, making it crucial to take immediate action to mitigate the devastating impacts of climate change. The visible and hidden costs of climate change. Climate change has devastating impacts on weather patterns, causing droughts, superstorms, inland flooding, and heat waves. Rising temperatures also lead to the emergence of new diseases and declining air quality. Environmental refugees face escalating tensions, and economic activities, such as fracking and deforestation, amplify the effects of climate change. The fossil fuel industry imposes hidden environmental costs on everyone, making climate action necessary. Failure to act will have far-reaching and costly consequences. Overcoming political interests in the fight against climate change. The book highlights that the industry is reluctant to reduce CO2 emissions as it necessitates regulating fossil fuels. Climate deniers often base their argument on politics rather than science. Industry-funded studies deny climate change, and there is a delay in action as other scientists disprove them. A study disputing the scientific consensus on CO2 concentrations was used for political inaction until it was proven to be inaccurate. Climate-denying scientists also cherry-pick data to hide the rise in CO2 levels. Political interests need to be overcome to tackle climate change effectively. The dark side of climate change denial. Some deniers claim that the effects of climate change are self-correcting and that it could be beneficial for humanity. However, these claims are false, and the negative effects of climate change far outweigh any potential benefits. The compounding positive feedback of CO2 production drives global warming, which has disastrous effects such as rising sea levels and extreme weather conditions that devastate agricultural lands. Climate change deniers often attack the scientific process, arguing that it is too expensive or unfair to developing countries. However, renewable energy, particularly solar, presents a cheaper alternative to fossil fuels and can be used to combat poverty worldwide. The manipulation of science. Industries have a history of hiring scientists to sow public doubt and delay regulatory action. The tobacco and chemical industries raised doubts to oppose regulations against their products. The George C. Marshall Institute sowed seeds of doubt about climate change, and other equally well-credentialed scientists joined in. Mark Morano engaged in smear campaigns against well-regarded climate scientists to damage their reputations. Deniers attack the process of science and hamper truthful, transparent public discourse. Denying climate change. Tea Party and Florida Republicans rejected the use of climate change and sea level rise due to their bias. The appropriation of Fox News and the right-wing media promoted the false balance of presenting fringe viewpoints that oppose scientific evidence. The 2009 ClimateGate was a major attack on climate change initiatives, and despite 9 official investigations in America and Britain disproving it, the damage was already done. This attempt by conservatives to deny scientific evidence is due to their vested interest in the fossil fuel industry, as Rupert Murdoch's News Corporation and the Saudi royal family are shareholders in these organizations. The Koch brothers and climate change denial. Charles and David Koch, owners of Koch Industries, the U.S.'s largest private fossil fuel company, advocate for limited government and industry regulation. The Supreme Court's decision in Citizens United v. Federal Election Commission allowed them to donate millions of dollars to fund a right-wing apparatus that denies climate change. The Kochs poured nearly $1 billion into the 2016 presidential election. Their organizations ridicule renewable technologies and promote geoengineering plans that have unpredictable side effects. However, natural gas, promoted as a viable alternative, also emits methane, which is more heat-trapping and longer-lived than carbon. While humans could engineer a mechanical tree, it is not cost-effective. As seasonal cycles in temperature and rainfall shift, entire food webs are in danger of disruption. Urgent action needed. Climate change is not a distant problem but an immediate one, and the policymakers must take bold steps to mitigate its effects. Renewable energy currently provides 25% of the world's electricity, while both wind and solar power have increasingly emerged as viable alternatives to fossil fuels. The Climate Change Conference in Paris united nations worldwide in their fight against further global warming. Organizations, businesses, and even the Rockefeller Brothers Fund are cutting carbon and divesting from fossil fuels. Implementing carbon caps and pricing and supporting renewable subsidies can help the economy towards fighting climate change. Joining groups like the Union of Concerned Scientists can keep people informed and promote collective action.
The truth about climate change has long been obscured by political interests and industrial profits. However, as the effects of global warming continue to reveal themselves, it is becoming clearer than ever that we must prioritize action over denial. The Madhouse Effect demonstrates how powerful players have manipulated information, sown doubt, and systematically delayed meaningful steps towards progress. As the future of our planet and generations to come depends on it, recognizing the importance of science, promoting fact-based public discourse, and actively supporting sustainable energy sources is paramount. By doing so, we can strive toward a more informed and unified approach to reversing the harmful consequences of climate change.